Hey guys, Slash Movies 410 back again with another video, and for today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my final thoughts on Halloween 2018 one last time before I go see it in theaters this Friday. And more specifically, I want to discuss what we already know we're going to see, what I want to see personally, and what I do not want to see. So let's talk about what we already know thus far. So we already know that we're going to be getting Easter eggs from all the past Halloween franchise sequels. That's no surprise. Personally, I'm fine with the idea as long as they execute it well and it doesn't feel excessive. Like, I don't want to have to nitpick every single detail, from every scene basically and be like, oh, that must be, a reference to H2O or something like that. Like, I want it to be very subtle. I just hope they execute that well. Next, we're going to be seeing Michael Myers as basically this nothing, just nothing about him other than the fact that he tried to kill Laurie in the original and that he succeeded in killing a majority of her friends. That's all I need to know about him. No new backstory, and I also don't want to know anything new about him, which I'll get into later. And no complex anti-hero backstory, so, no Rob Zombie bullshit, which I do not think they're going to go into that route at all, because that's been done already, and it wasn't good, and, yeah. And we already know that we're going to get a really good showdown between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. That's no surprise. I mean, it's 2018, so the fight scene's going to be very well choreographed. It's going to look very realistic. I have no doubt about that. And as great as the fight scene was in the original one, it wasn't choreographed very well. It didn't look too realistic, but the thing that made that scene so great was the music and also the suspense and the shadows and all that and the darkness. That's what made that scene really good. But yeah, they can make it look a lot more realistic now with the technology we have today, obviously. So I'm not worried about that. I think there's going to be a great showdown between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Next, we're going to be seeing a new iconic score composed by John Carpenter. I'm on board for this, honestly. I just hope that we get something new from him, which I'll get into later. Okay, so that's everything that we know we're going to see. So let's talk about what I want to see personally. So the first thing I want to see is when the journalist is discussing what went down basically the night of Halloween in 1978, I would really like to see a flashback sequence of Michael Myers being captured, and I really believe that they can execute this well by cutting to Michael being shot 6 times, falling off the balcony, Laurie crying. And if they could do this would be so cool, and it would add so much to the film. If they could just include footage from Halloween 2 of Loomis running out of the house and just seeing nothing there, and that's where you can transition that into Michael walking in the streets, hanging on to life basically, and bleeding from all the gunshot wounds, and then just collapse, and then the police can disclose him. So yeah, and the reason I really want to see this is because I really want to buy into the fact that this movie actually takes place 40 years later. Obviously, it's been confirmed, and we know it takes place 40 years later, but we've had so many other sequels that I really want my focus to be on this movie, and I really want to buy into the fact that this movie does take place 40 years later. That way, it'll also feel more like a grounded sequel, in my opinion. That way, I can forget about Halloween 2, 4, and so on. That's just my opinion. And if they don't choose to go this route, that won't change how I think about the movie. I won't be disappointed if they choose to go into another direction, especially if that direction works well and it turns out great. However, I feel like if they do show Michael being taken into captivity and have that little flashback sequence during the investigation, or I don't know what that scene's going to be because I haven't seen it yet, but whatever that scene's going to be, I feel like it would be a missed opportunity, but I don't feel like it would make the movie worse, if that makes sense. Alright, number 2, I want to see more low-key lighting. I believe this is essential in a Halloween film because seeing Michael in the darkness really brings out his character and it makes him scarier as a whole. I believe the only Halloween films that really had a lot of low-key lighting was the first one, the second one, and a little bit of the fourth one. Just a little bit. And then the rest, I don't really recall him being in the darkness all that much. But yeah, From what I've seen in the trailers, it looks to be that they have chosen to have a lot of up close and personal shots of Michael with very high key lighting. And I did notice some scenes in the trailer of Michael in the darkness, but they're very minimal. I just hope they include more of that. And I also noticed that they decided to go with a new type of lighting rather than the traditional cool blue lighting that they used in the original. It's more of like an orange type lighting, which I don't mind personally because, this movie is going to have its own flavor. It's by a different director. It's a sequel to the original, so that's kind of cool that they're changing it up a little bit. And that's pretty much all for that. Number 3, I want to hear a new theme. I know that we're going to get a new revamped main theme and other themes from the original, to feel more updated and modern. However, I want to hear like a new musical cue or a new musical score that we've never heard before. Yeah. Okay, number 4, okay, this is something that I don't mind. They're probably not going to do, but it's something that personally I would like to see. I want to see Laurie talking about Annie, Linda, and Bob because, they were friends in school, and I want to hear about her experience and how this traumatic event changed her life. And I just hope they don't ignore this. If they do, again, it won't change how I think about the movie. It's just another little something that they could have included. Number 5, I want Loomis to be fully recognized and acknowledged. If this means that the journalist or whomever is talking about Michael and what happened the night of 78, I want them to bring up Loomis. Hell, even Laurie can just bring him up, and I'll be happy with that as long as he is acknowledged. And plus, it would be respectful to the actor who portrayed Loomis, Donald Pleasence. So, he's dedicated his life to the franchise, and I think it would be a nice little nod to him. Number 6, I want to know what happened to Sheriff Brackett. Is he still alive? Does he keep in contact with Laurie? How did he handle Annie's death, etc.? I know it's not essential for the story, but it is something I'd like to see. Okay, now let's talk about what I do not want to see. Number 1, I do not want to see too much comedy. It can be very excessive and annoying. A little comedy is alright as long as it's executed appropriately. That's where my main problem fell with the It movie. Way too much comedy in that movie. It kind of took me out a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But, I hope they execute it very well for this movie. If they don't, I will be a little disappointed, but it's not something that'll take me out of the movie. As you can tell, I really, really want to like this movie. And if I don't like the movie, I will be honest with you guys if I don't like it. And if I do like it, I'll tell you guys why. If I don't like it, I'll also tell you guys why. Next, number 2, I don't want them to introduce connections about Michael's past. I talked about this earlier, but I hope they keep it original. I do not want to know anything about him at all. We know that he killed his sister when he was 6 years old on Halloween in 1963. That's it. Just leave it at that. Leave it alone. That's it. I don't want them to introduce new siblings for Myers. Oh my God, please don't do this. It would be so stupid and unnecessary. Judith was Michael's only sister, and she was killed in 63. Let's move on, basically. I don't want them to introduce anything new. I can't express that enough. Please do not change anything. Number 3, I do not want to see a face reveal of Michael Myers. I know from what I've seen in the trailers, we have very, very close-up shots. I do not want to... I don't even care if they just show like glimpses of his damaged eye or the back of his head. Just no face, please. That's just my biggest nitpick, I guess. I don't want to see his face. And if they do, I don't know what I would say. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. But, yeah, mainly I just don't want to see his face at all. So that pretty much wraps it up, guys. That's all the things I want to see in the movie and what I don't want to see. So, yeah, I'm pumped to see this movie, guys. I'm going to see it on Friday, as I told you guys earlier. I'm not sure if I'll be doing cosplay over there. I'm still thinking about it. If I don't, it's not a big deal. But we'll see as time goes on. But, yeah, I'm pumped for this movie, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoy the movie. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later with some more videos.